probably includes a lot of people that we.
All right, Alice, let me tell you what happened in Portland last night. It was the greatest single dedicated performance by a single person that I've ever seen. That includes like Gunther Gable Williams in the Tiger Cage to U2 to any other rock star I've seen or anything else I've seen. I don't even know what to call the Kirk Minahan show in his redemption show or whatever in Portland last night.
Okay, so I guess kind of I want you to delve into that a little bit because this was your first live show that you went to, and I've never been to a live show, obviously. And I mean, a lot of listeners of the Kirk Minahan show have never been to a live show because it has hundreds of thousands of listeners, and a small percentage of those actually travel and go to the live show. So that is the most dedicated people. And I think it probably includes a lot of people that we both know who are like in the world and on Twitter and on the network and all our like internet KMS friends, right? But it probably also includes a whole bunch of other people that we don't know that don't like go out attention seeking or doing anything. But I mean, there are a ton of people that never go to a live show. And so what kind of, if you were going to sum up, like what's the difference between the live show? Like, are you just, it's obviously not the way that you talk about it and the way that I've heard other people talk about it in the past. You're obviously not just going and watching people do an episode of the podcast live.
Oh, no.
So, explain to me what the difference is.
Okay, so obviously there are pre-recorded skits and segments, etc. And there was a long opening one that had to do with Kirk being kidnapped, essentially, with Beyond Average Mick, etc. And everybody who was in it like was really good at acting. Kirk was good at acting. Mick was good. Gus was good. He was scary good. It was just, like they were really good actors. I was just surprised. Montante was good, even though he gave him crap for it. Montante was good. Like it was just really good. So what makes it different for me is, and I'll get to the atmosphere in a second when we talk about the Minifans, but is that it's him. You know what it is? It's the end of Gladiator. It's him killing himself, and I know it's an artful term to use in this case, but really just giving 180% physically, emotionally. Like he just gave the audience everything. Everything he had, and like he's got a high threshold for would it be called pain? Whatever you're doing when you're working hard for somebody, for like over exhilaration. So he's just totally passionate, totally into it, thinking on his feet, singing, just working the crowd. It was like you paid $100 for that ticket, whatever, you got a few $100s worth. I mean, it was just total dedication. I can't think of many other people who were like I guess actually maybe Springsteen gets a lot of credit for that, for going on for hours and hours and hours and being relentless. And that's what he was. That's a good word for him. He was relentless.
Like Taylor Swift?
Jesus. No, I mean what this guy did from nothing, because you got that auditorium with a few thousand seats, whatever, from nothing to get these people, and me too, to get everybody in the audience just whipped up to work the crowd. All the crappy seats, he went and visited them. The other seats, he stood right near where I was in the orchestra on a chair.
At risk of causing controversy, how full was the theater? Because this was a matter of some debate online. Like a lot of show haters were kind of saying like, oh, can't sell tickets, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it is Easter weekend, which does make it tough for some people. So how full was it?
I thought about 90%, I would say, maybe 85 to 90%. I didn't see from where I was, and I could see behind me in the balcony. The balcony I thought would be more empty, but it seemed pretty robust to me. There was, in the orchestra to the left of me, there was a row that was empty, but it later filled up with Barstool people, like Casey and some other people who were in the show. So that was just one row, but I think it was being reserved for Barstool people to watch. But but the dedication in like he did a rap song. He did Bust a Move with Mutt.
Mhm.
Somehow, here's another thing.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Mutt.
Mutt
looking-
was shockingly good. Shockingly good.
Mhm.
And the whole thing, like, not even that was easy. They did it in two parts. He did it in one part where he he stops the rap at one point because he wants to do it with somebody else. He had already dreamed of doing it with his brother. He doesn't have a real brother there. He's only got one brother, and he's 3,000 miles away. So he brings in Mutt. Mutt, bang, just nails it. It was like he made everybody else good. Everybody was good. And like even Justin had a look of concern the whole night. I don't know why. I guess because he's just wanted to be a perfectionist. But he did all the Coleman is gay stuff. Coleman's brother came out, the magician.
Chris Coleman.
Chris Coleman came out and was like, I think, and Kirk was talking over it, which was good too, because he was emoting with the audience was emoting because he didn't know. I don't know if he knows any magic, but
I don't think he knows magic.
I don't think he knows magic.
I mean, I don't
He
think
did something for about 7 minutes, but that was even more
Do you
funny.
remember your card trick?
My card trick?
You were fooled by the card trick that he did on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that blew me away. Yeah. Yeah. But he also...
Me and our
By the way, that Chris Coleman, I tweeted it out. There's a...
10-year-old and I had to explain to you how Chris Coleman's card trick worked because you
but
were
anyway,
like amazed.
He's a super talented guy. If you can go on YouTube and there's like, he sings and dances and does everything. Like, he's a super talented guy. This, I assume, was a bit, and generally bits that are not funny on purpose. I don't usually like. I never thought Andy Kaufman was funny. But this guy, Chris Coleman, is funny. Another thing is, like, the band was good. Kirk is familiar with the band. They work good together. They're kind of tight. And a lot of the there were so many. And I had never. They did I hope they release it on video, but they did a.
No, I think they usually don't. I think Kirk kind of likes the live shows to be like for the people who paid for a ticket and it's special and you can't get it anywhere else kind of experiences.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, at least in some of the segments, I wish they would. They did this thing on Justin being a child molester, being a pedophile. Well,
and I heard his parents were there, right?
yes, they were.
Okay.
Yes, they were.
Good.
Well, they play music and a video tribute showing all sorts of children. It's a montage of children. Meanwhile, Justin's dancing on stage with a baby. Not a real baby. It's a baby doll. But in like this whole montage really is for like 4 or 5 minutes. And in one of the, it's all little kids, these are all Justin's victims, obviously.
Yes.
Kids in in a meadow and kids, One of the shots then goes to a dead baby, like with blood on it. A gruesome picture, which is just like it was fucking brilliantly dark. It was just great. It was great. In like, I assume Kirk wrote that. I assume it just was unexpected. There was a lot of little unexpected things, which I guess he's just very comfortable with. But here's my thing, and I was talking to Colleen about this last night after the show. That's why it would suck to be his producer, because he never stops. Like the Bust a Move thing, he could have just gone on and done Bust a Move. Nope, it had to be a bit. It had to start and stop. It's not easy to remember a rap anyway when you're doing it. And we have to bring Mutt on, and they're like coordinated the whole thing. So you saw that they had the drips came on, and at one point
we're shirtless. Yes, I saw pictures of that on Twitter as
everybody's shirtless. Yeah, it's and they're all having a good time too. Like, he's a good leader because he instilled confidence in all these people to do all this kind of acting, and it was just like I don't. The most talented person I ever saw was Sammy Davis Jr. in the late '80s. He was old then, but he like jumped behind the drums and he like played the other instruments and he had incredible vocal range, etc. But it wasn't as if like and it was a great performance, but it wasn't as if he like touched everybody there. I mean, maybe it's kind of like, and I know this sounds like full on ask history, and it's just observationally, this is what it was. There's like, when somebody lays themselves on the line, I think that you can't help but have respect for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was this like super long game one time with the Red Sox and Yankees, like in 2002 or something, and it was considered like maybe it was earlier. It was Sox fans will remember or Yankees fans, but it was like it was a whole bunch of innings. My brother I think was there. It was like they were there till like 4 in the morning. It was crazy. And Jeter made this play. Derek Jeter, who everybody hated. You
Mhm.
know, here we loved Nomar. There they loved Derek Jeter. Jeter dove into the Fenway seats to catch a ball, which I think he
Mhm.
did, and like dove when his skull like nailed the old iron railings
Ooh.
on the thing,
Mhm.
and he was like a little messed up, but like there was just like earned respect for like holy shit, this guy fucking
Committed.
committed, and that's like it, fucking committed. The fan service last night, it was like totally committed. Totally. And that didn't have to do it. It could have been like what's the one with the actors? There's the three actors, Will Arnett and
Smartless.
Smartless, yeah. They
Mhm.
could have most of these podcast shows.
Well, yeah, once they do that's why I said that. Like most podcast live shows are like they just go somewhere and sit on stage and record an episode of their podcast in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's like what most podcast live shows are.
Yes. Yes. In there a lot of them can be a little smug and cute with an air of depending if it's like
Mhm. Yeah, like the Pod Save
right.
guys have done those too,
And they're like they feel like half a smug TED talk, and it's like oh, it's about them. With Kirk, it's kind of about like just the audience, like showing you once again why you invest all the time and energy,
right.
and why all the Minifans are so. And by the way, he definitely fed off of that too because the streets were occupied by Minifans,
Mhm.
and there was such an energy.
So and like I assume it seemed like from pictures you sent me and whatever, it seemed like the hotels and the bars were all like occupied by Minifans too. Everywhere you were going, it was like
oh yes,
Minifan Central.
oh yeah, in like a total fraternity, but there was a lot of women there too. So I mean, it was a total goodwill spirit between Minifans. Everybody happy, gregarious. Couldn't have been a nicer bunch of folks. Just having an absolute a good time, and they create these swirls of excitement, and especially in the State Theater, these swirls of excitement, like all over the place, all over the place. And then after the show, yeah, everybody went to the bar. But I'll have one complaint. This is not a Kirk complaint, but one complaint ever.
Mm-hmm.
Weston sucks at bars. I'm gonna put that out there. It's just but we did find some other places. I only had one drink during the show at all, anyway, because I was watching the stuff and I didn't want to move, but a great show. Oh, another part was Dan Katz. And this would be great. You know how there's like a guy who has cancer who follows the show who's terminally ill, who's dying, and he came in. He's done like 1 second chair, maybe 2 second chair visits. Great guy. Dan Katz like stole his life story and did a vignette about having cancer and dying, and he was really funny. I don't know if somebody wrote the jokes for him. His acting was also good. It was very good. And then I got to mention in the show, like everybody being elevated, Steve from Gloucester does not seem to have a bit of stage fright at all. He seemed like a big ham up there, like totally comfortable with it. Totally comfortable with it. And he danced with Casey Smith. Is it Casey Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who and she seemed to have fun as well, and it was good. You know, they did the Dirty Dancing thing where at the end she like jumps into his arms, and which didn't end as a catastrophe, which is good. But it was.
Can I make an aside about Dirty Dancing or should I save that for later?
Good.
I only saw Dirty Dancing recently. Like I didn't grow up with it. It's kind of before my time, and I was on a plane and I watched it, and I felt like the whole movie held up except that last part. The like nobody puts baby in a corner. She nails the flying leap thing. Like that whole scene seemed to me like weird, corny wish casting at the end. Like it seemed
Well,
like a
it was
dream
the 80s.
sequence of like
The
what you
80s
would
ended
invent
with
to happen.
climaxes.
I
and,
know,
like,
but like the whole movie is so like real and raw, and like we're gonna talk about like abortions and this stuff, and like, and I felt like for the most part the movie held up and seemed pretty, like I mean it seemed modern and felt normal, but that scene at the end, I was like, oh, that just like sank it for me.
yeah,
But
I never thought it was a great movie.
people love it.
Yeah, well, chicks love it, but some guys do. I would look at it now just to see through the lens of like the Catskills in the '60s.
Yeah.
Might be interesting.
Yeah, that part was good because a while ago you got into all the Catskills,
Yes.
and we watched a bunch of documentaries and stuff on the hotels and everything. So yeah, I was definitely like looking at it from that perspective too. Like I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ending part of the movie, which I mean, like that's obviously the part that people quote and stuff. I was like, I can't believe they really put out this movie like this. It's
Yeah.
so lame, silly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was.
I mean, like what? I didn't get it. But most of the movie I thought was pretty good. I really
Yeah.
like her. Jennifer Grey.
Yeah.
And her-
unnecessary nose job. Like, what are people
So
doing?
she said it was like medically
No,
necessary
it's
and they
never.
screwed it up and like, but yeah, she was so beautiful then when
Yeah.
she had like all that. She was so pretty. I think she's so beautiful. And Ferris Bueller's Day Off too. That's her, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
her.
beautiful.
So I want to go to the Minifans.
Mhm.
Totally, not at all what I expected. Not at all what I expected. I mean, I've always liked them. We've done a bunch of, podcasts, videocasts with them, and shows with various Minifans, and they've invited me on. It's been fun, etc. So when I was getting Montante texted me and said, "Hey, we're down here in the hotel bar. Come on down." And I was nervous. I think I texted you. I think I was like nervous to go down there. Like, it was. You know why it's nerve wracking? It was nervous because it's a totally new experience.
Mhm.
How I have not. You're not trained. You don't have life experiences where you walk into new rooms of people that you know but really don't know.
Well, and I worried about you a little bit because you do sometimes feel socially awkward.
Mm-hmm.
You get like weird about
Yeah,
being around people sometimes.
which is ironic because I think that this is a large number of people in this group are people who in other areas would also be socially awkward.
Yeah.
But there are all kinds.
Mhm.
Here's a couple of observations
Yes.
that are different than what I thought. Stephen Gloucester is a much bigger, taller guy than I thought,
Which you always get.
which I did get as well.
People always are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're so tall."
Yes. Yeah, I think I got a "You're fucking huge" from Tim from Canton.
Tim in Canton.
Tim in Canton, sorry. John from Scranton. Tim in Canton.
John in Warren. Yeah.
John
John in Warren, John from Scranton.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so John from Scranton.
Mhm.
Also tall. Or not short. I thought because when his video, he always seemed to be like curled up on his mic, like with like 1 foot on the chair, like mosquito-y, and he's not. He was probably the best dressed guy there. He's a very good-looking guy. He is, Alice. I thought that he'd be a little more stonery.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. A guy has presence. He was like
No, I got that vibe when he was lecturing Kirk about how to dress the other day
Oh, really?
on the show when he was in studio. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
He told everybody he was going to take them to Milton's. And
No, I'm talking about John and
John from Scranton.
John from
Yes.
Scranton. That wasn't John from Scranton who said that. Oh,
Yes,
yes,
it
it
was.
was. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. Like I said, debonair, and I haven't unleashed or uncloseted the word debonair in like maybe ever, but at least 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, great guy, nice guy, very socially cool. It was with I assume it's his girlfriend, the lovely woman, and it just like a very just cool guy. And along the same lines, another guy. I'm going to say his name wrong. Tim Ridgels.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a good-looking guy. I thought he was much more like stonery too.
Mm-hmm.
Because well, sometimes we've done the shows, it gets a little bit late in the evening, and maybe we'll have a beer here and there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a very well dressed guy. Had I known that there was a standard of dressing well,
I know the Minifans must have a reputation to uphold of being a well-dressed group. I guess next time you should go to Milton's before you head up there. I guess
it was and also Rituals. Just every guy there was great, and their girls were great. And the girl, you know, I met Mama Kay,
Mm-hmm.
as well. In
Melissa Gorman.
I'm sorry.
Melissa Gorman.
Yes. Oh, yes. She was great too. It's so well, she was wonderful. She is 14 years younger than her husband.
Oh, just like us.
That's right. That's right. She, by the way, is a few years older than me and looks 26. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like just how this works.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if we lived near she and her husband, I think his name was Larry, was also a great guy. Everybody was a great guy. Stephen Gloucester, we're going to be hanging out with him. Him and Tim and Canton.
He's right down the street too.
I know. Him and Tim and Canton, just fantastic guys. I spent most of the time, I think, with those guys. Went to a bar, has just talked about stuff. It was absolutely and totally natural. Everybody was there. The Be a Man guy was there. He joined us at the bar as well. Awesome guy. He also lives down the street. He's in Essex. And I didn't realize how huge he was. But he had some excellent stories. Excellent. Just a great guy.
Did you say Be a Man guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't. It sounded like you said BBN guy.
No.
I couldn't parse that into words at first. Except
Yes.
you're excited, but I heard you talk about meeting him, so that's very cool.
But I want
We
you to
like him a lot.
I will
We
be
like him a
very
lot.
pleased. But by the way, wait. I want you, when you get your hot body back,
Yes.
we're going to a Minahan show.
Okay, I'll come.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to come. I would have come to this one, but somebody had to watch our kids.
No, I know. Yeah. But you would.
And for those wondering, it wasn't Easter for us. This was an ordinary weekend for us.
But you would love them. They would love
but
you. They would.
Yeah.
And they're just a great bunch of people. Like if Burning Man is like this, then I'd do Burning Man.
I think there's more nudity at Burning Man.
What else? Where else is he? I hope I don't get banned, exiled, because I would love to go to more of these. But getting was there other observations? I'm leaving people out, but obviously Augustus. Oh yeah, we've ended up in somebody's hotel room, just talking politics till like 2 a.m.
It's funny
drinking
because
bourbon.
one of our kids really, we have the show on like in the background. Sometimes we try and avoid like the kids hearing anything really inappropriate, but we have it on around. So one of our kids like really liked Gus and like has a fondness for Gus, and so is like upset about it. And you know how some people like look back on the Steve era of the show or the Dave Cullinane era of the show, especially like you tend to be attached, I think, to the era when you started listening. Well, like our 8-year-old, we're like breeding a new generation of Minifans that now like our 8-year-old looks back fondly on the Gus era. He'll say sometimes like he's like, I wish the show could be like it used to be when Gus was on it.
Right. Well, because Gus on the show was like a Muppet, you know.
I could see why that would have an appeal.
So they like him, but Gus in real life is not like that. I'm serious. Gus in real life is an alpha in the room. Totally self-confident, cocksure guy. Totally like. As he was leaving, I was like, he gave me the like, oh, I'm a fan, like, oh, hey, bud, like you one of those things. But like totally different. We had a good political conversation. He's a guy who knows some politics. He's been in politics, in state politics in Massachusetts. Yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah, he's like worked for candidates, right?
I did see. I think I said hi to. I might have said hi to Justin, who didn't say hi, but I don't know if he's on orders to hate me or to not. I don't know. He did a good job, though. He looked good in his suit too. And I did say I had a couple of seconds of conversation with Coleman in the bar at the end of the night, but it was too loud. But I think he was saying something like, "Oh man, you could like." I think he was challenging me. I think on something that I had complained about him for. And say it. I think I couldn't. That was the by his intonation and by his gesturing. It's something like, "How do you do like them sober?" But I found him to be entirely. What?
I wonder what it's like to go through life as you, like half knowing people's names a little bit.
Yeah.
Like people make gestures and
Yeah.
intonations at you, but you're not sure what they're saying.
But I will
Like,
say, Alice,
I don't
I'm going
know.
to say something here.
Okay.
Coleman has absolute, and this must be because his family's like decent. He has zero heirs.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. And in a night when you're getting super attention, it's, I think, probably hard to not to. But his zero heirs is won me over. I might be officially now a Coleman guy, even though he doesn't seem to know a whole lot about producing stuff. Whatever he did here,
Or conservative politics, but he
no,
but
they kept
but
playing
he's
that.
into but he's into both.
Yes.
So I mean, it takes time to learn stuff.
They
I
kept
guess.
playing that those him talking about on abortion. On one hand, yeah, I think it's a woman's choice, but on the other hand, I'm a Catholic, so I just want to. I don't think that we should be stopping lives, but the ladies need to. It's like, wow, you've said nothing. I was like, he
I'm
does
still
say a
not
lot of.
over him saying that he doesn't understand the pig kidney transplant thing. So they transplanted the kidney. I just don't get it. That's crazy.
Well, he
Like,
did that
but
with the
why?
mayor of Baltimore too.
Yeah,
Have you heard that
Yeah,
one? Yeah.
yeah.
Where he's like, I don't get it. Like the mayor of Baltimore shouldn't be talking about like race at the same time. Like Republicans shouldn't be talking about like.
But I said,
DEI
or I
stuff.
meant to say
So,
in our
I
first
don't
Leeches,
understand.
podcast, and I'm not sure if I actually got this out because I was busy saying a lot of things over again. But I enjoy him being like a little baby conservative, like sort of not knowing anything. I think it's I don't really agree with sort of the Jeff D. Lowe criticism of him that it's like faked for attention or something. I mean, in a sense, it sort of is. Like, he obviously doesn't really know the issues per se, but like, how many liberal people really know the issues or have thought about them, and they're allowed to just like say stuff like, "Oh, well, Trump's attacking women's rights" or whatever. Like it's not like people don't give people that hard a time about not knowing really in depth their politics when they're liberals. It's like only conservatives that get that. So, if he's interested in it and he follows the stories and whatever, it's he'll figure it out eventually, or he won't. Like there's plenty of dumb liberals and nobody's mad at them except like conservative talk show hosts. So it doesn't matter, obviously.
Yeah.
If he wants to be a conservative, let him be a conservative. He's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I have no problem. I think that he's a. I don't know actually. Like, I get a good. You know what else for Gen Y people? I get good vibes, good and positive vibes from him. He takes no responsibility for anything, and he's just. Sometimes you need a person like that around, but it was a great. It was a great, just totally great show, and it's a great venue too. It's a nice venue where you can move around a lot, ease of movement, which I really liked. There was a bar area. Next time I probably would have just hung out in the bar area where you can stand, because that's nice and freeing up there. That's where Dave was, Cullinane. But Cullinane was saying after it.
So was there a better, like, we just kind of booked wherever because we did it kind of last minute, but was there like a better hotel that it would have been more fun to be at, or was that like the place where everyone was?
It was everybody at the Westin. You had to be. It's a nice Westin. It's a nice. The rooms are nice. It's a nice place.
So who else from Barstool was there? There was obviously Casey Smith. I think you said Dan Katz's thing was like a video,
I
right?
thought I saw Riggs and another guy from that thing, and I sitting at the bar. And I said, oh, I was walking with one of the guys, and I said, oh, that's Barstool Riggs down there. I was sure that was him. And I said, hey, to say hi to him. And he did one of these, like a confident, cool guy would if he knows he's more famous than you. He's like, So I think that was him, but he wasn't on stage, so maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was just a guy who had been golfing because he was wearing Titleist stuff.
So you assume that's Riggs then?
I assume everybody who's got golfing stuff
on his Riggs.
I also don't know if I've ever seen Riggs. This is another... Casey Smith and Jeff D. Lowe. And Jeff D. Lowe did a good job too. He was a good job. Oh, and then the other takeaway was Steve.
From
This is-
Gloucester?
No,
Or,
no.
Robinson.
Steve Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
who I saw in the elevator for 1 second, did not recognize me.
Yes. Which is weird because he's like, he talks to you like
Yeah, we do
every
talk all the
third
time.
day.
We do talk all the Oh, they never use a picture of me with a beard. And
Oh,
I
that's
think, yeah. So, Steve
You're
was-
also very skinny now.
Yeah,
So that's
well,
probably
Steve
why.
was talking to with the guitarist from No Exit 4, great band. Or yeah, he was. I think it was the guitarist. Was trying to convince him something to do with the Daily Wire, and then the guitarist was saying like, I don't think I'm interested.
The main wire?
The main wire. What did I say? Daily
The
Wire.
Daily Wire.
Anyway, here's the thing about Steve, and this is I've known Steve for pretty much 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Steve is effing ripped.
Hmm.
Steve is ripped. Like there were 3 guys who shouldn't have had their shirt off last night on the stage. Steve should have. I'm not a homosexual.
There
but
were 3 people who shouldn't have had that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, Pat Ford and John and Warren and Kirk Minahan do not have Chippendale's bodies.
No, but I mean, I thought Kirk and John and Warren were fine.
What is that against my friend the Drip?
Well, I thought
Kirk
Pat
has
Ford
a little
is
bit of flab too, Alice.
Obviously, the world knows that I'm not afraid to.
The world knows you're a chubby chick.
Well, I'm not afraid of chubbiness. It doesn't bother me. But I'm just saying in terms of like pure aesthetics, like, Pat Ford was a little teensy bit chubbier. But, I thought John and Warren and Kirk both looked fine.
Oh, yeah. But Steve is ripped. Dude, he's like ripped. He is like by and large in better like fighting commando shape than anybody else in that theater. It was very interesting, and people were talking about it in my
And I
entire row.
assume he was like concealed carrying too. So
Oh, I assume
he was ready
armed
for
to the hilt. He probably wanted the ankle.
ready for a mass shooter to pop up in the audience.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And Steve and Mike did a bit about the Steve thing, the Steve ratings, and the producers.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the high point of the evening, but
Steve Robinson units.
Steve Robinson units exactly, and the rest of the producers were out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. It was kind of served as a kind of intermission, so Kirk could do something else, then come back and finish up. But his songs were good. What's interesting?
What other songs did they use as like?
We're in an American band.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one that they ended on. I think that was it, right? Isn't it? If it's not, it sounds just like that. But right at the end of that's when I bolted for the Doors. Right at the end because I wanted to beat.
You're scared of getting caught in a crowd.
Exactly, and there's a certain personality type that does that. And when I got outside, there was only one other guy walking outside, and that was David Cullinane. So
the two of you wanted to escape the crush of the crowd.
Right. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up and we ordered a drink at a table we sat at, and did not see another server for 45 minutes. And they were really busy. I don't get this. Like, I don't get this tipped employees being unenthusiastic about stuff. The guy downstairs at the bar was like, I didn't charge you for one of the vodka drinks. This like weird smarmy guy, and was like, yeah, you did. He said, oh, it's fine. You can just take it. It's fine. But like, right? What did we tell you? You did. You charged me for the drinks. You fucking creep. But anyway, so yeah. And so then they came, and the entourage of the famous people came into the big hotel rooftop bar. At the end, Kirk came in. They all applauded, etc. They worked every table. Kirk worked every table, including to my table, and then he denied me, Alice. He gave me a look, as in like, why are you here, or to jump out the window look. So I was denied.
Sorry about that.
I know. Well, I didn't know which way to go. Thankfully, I didn't put out my hand to shake it. I just like stood up because he was coming over, just in case. Well, everybody was like, it's a good job and this and that. So I didn't say anything, but I got the no thing anyway, which is fine. I'll take all the no things in the world. Just don't delete
Maybe he
me.
was worried.
Don't
you
banish
were,
me.
Maybe he was worried you were gonna like pretend to be like good friends and like buddies with him from like way back.
He made it
because you have a little bit of that sometimes. Because
yeah,
you're like 2 degrees of separation away in high school, kind of.
Oh yeah. Was that part of the Stolen Valor stuff? Maybe.
I don't know, but or like I don't know. You offering
I
him
don't
an
know, but
unpaid job at the
I was very
Harem
much
and,
George.
and
I was
all
very
the
much
things.
George
Yeah.
Costanza walking in a box step in front of the soup Nazi. I didn't want to. I just don't want to be deleted. That's it. I got no problem. But the whole night was like performance was fantastic. Everybody loved it. Who I talked to, I had talked to a whole bunch of people who had been to a whole bunch of other shows, and the entire consensus was that by far, this was by far the best show ever. And like for one dude, like he absolutely freaking poured his heart out. Absolutely, it was a
Yeah.
kick-ass.
So it makes sense to you. And I mean, I guess he did say that on the show the other day that he wouldn't do 2 back-to-back shows anymore.
Yeah.
Like he
I
did.
can't imagine.
That was the Wilbur where he
He'd
did
be
2,
dead.
right?
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, that makes sense to you that's like the right decision there.
Oh, totally, totally, totally. We got to get the schedule and see where else they're going to be after this. It was. I mean, you can't do that. Oh, that's what I want to say before we go. Is that,
Okay.
like Dave was saying last night, it's like you and Steve could do something like that. Like me and Steve and others. Me and Steve Robinson have a politics chat. And you got to think, like, I have some people who know me from radio, and Steve has some people who know him from Maine, and from radio, and from Howie, and
Right.
from me, from Howie, from me, from Kirk, from Steve, from Kirk. Like we could probably get a group of people together, but we can't do something like that. I have no
No,
equivalent
not like
of
that. And the type of people, no offense, but like the type of people who are into like you or Steve from Howie Carr and not from Kirk, they're not looking for that either. They want like a Cooner rally.
Ugh. Right.
They want you to come out and like say that you're gonna fight the commies on Bacon Hill and like gin up the crowd with that kind of rallying cry.
Yeah, no, it's very.
I mean, they're not looking for Bust a Move.
Yeah, no, but like even like with the vignettes, the skits, etc. It's like I have zero skill set for any of that. Maybe Steve does. Who knows? But anyway, it was a magnificent performance in a freaking great time. Thank you, Alice, for letting me go up there.
I encouraged
You got a lot
you
of
to go
fans
up
there,
there.
by the way. And thank you for everybody who said
come next time.
who said kind words about our Burn Barrel podcast and my radio show and about Alice. Everybody loves Alice. And yeah, I can't wait to see all you guys again. It was just absolutely fantastic. What a freaking night.
because there's like gray haired old men and then like who very clearly like didn't like the snowdrifts